Let's eat cereal, cereal. I wanna eat cereal. Let's eat some cereal. Let me hear your crackle pop. Your crackle pop. Let me hear your crackle pop. Wanna eat cereal, cereal. I wanna eat cereal. Let's eat some cereal. Let me hear your crackle pop. Your crackle pop. Let me hear your crackle pop.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Welcome, cereal lovers, to another cereal review. I am your host and palate guide, Professor Cereal Doctor. As the rock group Stained once said, it's been a while, and you may have noticed a number of changes. For one, as you can plainly see, I'm no longer in the cereal laboratory. And as long as Mildred works there, and my restraining order remains in place, it will remain that way. You may have also noticed that my older videos are no longer on Friendster, Meta Cafe, or anywhere else for that matter. They are gone forever, I'm afraid. The lawsuit did not go well. My previous video series and accompanying podcast, Cereal, was the victim of cruel and litigious whims of big business. I'm also legally forced to admit that elements of my previous work were incredibly racist, and I apologize to the following groups of people. With that out of the way, I'm starting from scratch, reviewing cereals without the social commentary that you're used to. For now. And this new video series has a new name. Drumroll, Spencer. Cereal Box. Spencer, my producer, just told me that the title was rolled before I even started speaking, so it wasn't a surprise to anyone. Let's move on. Let's talk about donations. In the past, I've asked my fans not to send me cereal to review in the mail. As most of you know, I will never support the postal system if I can help it. God, I hate them. A super fan named Harold ignored my plea of not sending me cereal. I'm not going to reveal his last name, but here's his address. Harold sent me 4 utterly bizarre cereals, and even more bizarre, I've not yet reviewed them, which is rare indeed. I am going to review one of those cereals today. Now, some of you may be confused, or even angry, that Harold gets rewarded for breaking the rules. Well, consider this a teachable moment. Rules were meant to be broken. Do you know where Pablo Picasso would be today if he had followed all the rules of art? He'd be dead. And without further ado, let's introduce the cereal. Drumroll, Spencer! You have to do that in camera, huh? Gotta slap your thighs like that. Can't do it in post. Okay. Our cereal is Hershey Kisses cereal by General Mills. Hershey Kisses cereal comes from a long line of foods that have been serialized for the breakfast crowd. Some have done well, like Reese's Puffs, and some have done dreadfully, like Gordon's fish stick O's. A stick can't be an O, Gordon. Now, let's examine the box. Let's take a look at the front of the box. We see the name Hershey Kisses cereal, and as the main image, we see a chocolate bowl with a silver tinfoil wrapping being unwrapped, and inside the bowl is the cereal, which looks vaguely like a Hershey Kiss. But I do like it. I like this design. I think it's very clever. It's very nice. It, of course, is evocative of the candy in which the product is trying to imitate. The other thing that I noticed in this rather plain cover is the very top, in which it says family size. Now, some of you may say that this comes from a place of confidence, a place of strength. To release a new cereal in family size, I think the very opposite. I think it's a place of weakness. You see, if you sell something in family size, it is in a larger package, which means that you have to sell less boxes for getting rid of the same amount of product. To me, that tells me that they're a little bit scared, that they want to make maybe an initial run of this product and scamper away. We'll see. Let's take a look at the nutritional facts. Now, you can see here that it gives, the normal list of nutritional facts that we're all used to at this point. The caloric intake and the total fat and carbohydrates, riboflavin. I don't really pay much attention to this. And neither should you. The thing that I am paying attention to, though, is the list of ingredients. You can see a couple of lines down that indeed it is made with Hershey's cocoa, processed with alkali, which I always thought was a battery. Hopefully it's something else. I've done no research. It's interesting to me that they wouldn't be screaming this from the mountaintops. Made with Hershey's cocoa. And I know what a lot of you are saying. Oh, I would never admit for Hershey's cocoa. Oh, yuck, Hershey's the worst, blah, blah, blah. I think that Hershey's cocoa is certainly a lot better than no-name cocoa. It's the name of the product. They should have it somewhere on the box, don't you think?
It's because Cocoa Puffs are made with delicious Hershey's cocoa.
We'll see what their line of thinking was when we do the tasting. Now let's turn to the very back. You can see that it says, milk and chocolate, the perfect couple. I know some other couples that may disagree with that. Peanut butter and jelly comes to mind. Ben Affleck and J-Lo. Are they still a couple? No. Oh my goodness. It's really a rather plain affair. And then the last side is even more plain. Just the name of the product and a picture of a Hershey Kiss to remind you once again what it's supposed to taste like. I feel like they've missed an opportunity with this box. If they wanted to make it a very special affair in the purchase of this cereal, I would have made the box shiny, a shiny silver, something looking a lot like the tinfoil of the Hershey Kiss in both look and texture. It would have made it so evocative of the product that it's trying to imitate. Very much a missed opportunity. Now, before I open this, I do think it's fair to give my hypothesis of what I expect from the tasting of this cereal. And it's this. I have fairly low expectations for you, Hershey Kisses cereal. I expect something along the lines of a Cocoa Puffs. It would be very surprising if there was any kind of a creamy chocolate texture that I would associate with a Hershey Kiss. With that said, there's only one way to find out, and that is the opening of the box. Here we go. Interesting. The plastic bag is not yet opened. I can smell the chocolatiness of this cereal. And let's see how easy it is to open. Oh, rather easy. There we are. Yes, yes. It does have a very cocoa-tastic scent. And now for the cereal. Yes, okay. It pours rather nicely. Yes, I think that's rather nice. You can see the cereal right here. It really looks like cocoa powder. It reminds me of it has a very powdery kind of look to it. And the texture's, rather rough to the touch. I always recommend that you fully touch your cereal before you consume it. Now, most of you already know this, but I'll explain this to those of you that are joining us for the first time. I enjoy eating my cereal with no milk. It's yet another way I am like the woman in the movie Get Out. So, here we go. My first taste. It's rather dry. It needs milk. It's chocolatey. It's crunchy. You do have a kind of flavor wall that hits you of a cocoa taste. But as I had properly guessed, it is a rather dry kind of sweetness. Something that indeed would probably be improved with milk. So, let's grab some milk. The adding of the milk. I don't hear any snaps, nor crackles, nor pops. It's a very quiet, cereal. One thing I notice immediately is that the cereal looks wetter. A good sign. There are some, I would argue, most cereals can and should be eaten without swimming in milk. But this is a cereal that really, really needs it. It's very dry. Very dry. Mm-hmm. And it seems to be staying fairly crunchy. Oh, look at this. Oh. The color of the milk seems to be changing color. How wonderful. But there you have it, an improvement. I want to try one more thing. I really wanted this to taste very much like a Hershey's Kiss. And I wonder if adding chocolate milk to this already chocolatey cereal would give me that creamy, chocolatey texture that I'm really looking for. Let's find out. Now, I have re-poured myself a bowl of Hershey's Kisses cereal. And presently, I will add some chocolate milk. Let me do it with the other hand. It'll look better on the camera. Okay. So the chocolate milk has been applied. I'm mixing it in. I really, really want these to taste like a Hershey Kiss very, very much. So, this is my thoughts. Adding the chocolate milk makes it more chocolatey. Well, of course. It made it creamier, a creamier chocolate. But then I started biting into the Hershey Kisses cereal, which was still very dry. And it made me think, as I was eating it, that I would rather have simply the chocolate milk instead of the cereal. Not a good sign. Our final test, something that I do every time I sample cerealized food, which is I find the food itself, whether it is a Gorton fish stick or a Hershey's peanut butter cup. In this case, I have a full bowl of Hershey Kisses. And I want to see if I would prefer to have this for breakfast than the cereal itself. Let's find out. Oh, what? Hey, I have now unwrapped the Hershey Kisses and well, let's try it again. This is a lot of chocolate. This is going to take a while, people.
2 hours later.
Having the Hershey Kisses themselves, really, really shows me that they missed the mark here. I really see no reason for this to exist if you can't give the feeling of a Hershey Kiss when you're having the cereal. Doesn't make sense to me. So I can really understand why they have made this a family size option, with, as far as I know, no others, right? It's only in family size. We have Cocoa Puffs, right? This is redundant. And taking the name of a candy and not delivering on the taste is, well, rather disappointing. So the real question is then, how to rank it? You have to pit it against the food that it most resembles, which is Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Puffs, I think, is a little bit lighter in its texture, but there really isn't a lot of substantive differences between the two. Because of the novelty of it, I suppose I would choose the Hershey Kiss cereal, but only once. And to me, that means that General Mills knows exactly what they're doing. We will probably not be seeing a Hershey Kisses box in the cereal aisle next year. So, there you have it. This is Professor Cereal Doctor, thanking you for welcoming me back into your life, and I will see you in your cereal bowl. Good day.